Okay. Filmed in Kodachrome by Martica and Bronson Hartley. It's being done again because there's recording all over it. This is the car called Beastly, the Hillman station wagon. It's loaded with 2 cans of everything from the supermarket. It is now on a sling, on a sort of a jitney, and there are 2 or 3 men standing on the back of the jitney trying to make it keep from upending. As the car goes out over the water, you'll see a bunch of men standing on the counterweight to try to make the counterweight heavier. I hope you got some Moorish music to play when we get to Africa. Look at the dent in the car, and the paneling of the car is being dented by the terrific weight. That car weighs about twice as much as a regular Hillman. And the Webley air pistol with the ammonia in it. All right. Yeah, the deadly sterno. The sterno burned our eyes. We cooked all our meals in the sterno. And the weight car was so heavy it made the boat sink down so far that Bert Darrell had to... They're the men standing in the back of the derrick. 2 or 3 of them. And Martica will now turn around with a great feeling of relief. There, she's turning around now. She's in the dark. Well, no video color is good for the movie. It's very bad. Okay, that is the Queen of Bermuda, under whose bow we are doing all this car lifting. And then, of course, the boat had to reverse out around the bow of the Queen, bumped into the dock. We expected the car to fall overboard. Boy, what a loss that would have been. We even had all of our papers. Yeah. When we borrowed money in Paris, and the authorities said, in view of the bulk of the evidence, we'll give you credit. Well, we had all of our legal papers, everything we owned on board the car, and we went to borrow money. We had everything. There is Jane and Bob and Julie and Flit. That's the Queen of Bermuda at the Hamilton waterfront. Kind of a grayish day. No. Next, the Reina del Pacifico, terribly overexposed shot, and I tried to fix it with a video. No, we're on the tender going out to it. This is the map of Europe, and we've animated the dots coming over to La Police, La Rochelle, La Coruña, no, La Rochelle, La Rochelle. And there is Beastly doing a high-flying dive. One of those cables ever broke. Yeah. Okay, there is, no, it's not his reflection in the water. That's le rideau. Cadone. Okay, and that's Rabelais' house down there. And who used Rabelais' toilet? Granny Gladys? You and Granny Gladys both used Rabelaisian toilet. Did you catch anything? Hope not. Okay, Lange. Boy, this music is... Chenonceau. Chenonceau. Chenonceau, yes. Blois. This is Blois coming up now. Blois. And there's Granny Gladys getting out of the car, doing some little footwork. Kind of a cold day, too. All right, there's the car with all the stuff on the roof that got stolen at one time. That is Reims Cathedral. Chartres. Thanks. That's the map upside down. Tour Eiffel. The man that used to go and have lunch every day in the restaurant. Yes. No, I did that with a little wind-up machine. I still have it. A man used to go and have lunch every day at the restaurant, and the waiter said, "You must love the Tour Eiffel." He said, "No, this is the only place I can go where I don't have to look at it." All the restaurants face it, and the one on it doesn't face it. Arc de Triomphe. You can see people on top walking around on the real film. I'm standing right in the middle of the traffic, by the way. Sacré-Cœur, overexposed, unfortunately. I tried to fix it on the video so you could see it, so it works better than the film, being able to douse down the video. Oh, Versailles, the Treaty of Versailles. There's Granny Gladys and Martica in an old-fashioned truck. This is going to be a 360-degree pan of the Jardin de Versailles. It was a cold day, and the tripod had a hernia and didn't want to turn. It was a little jerky. Look at that. That was the Salle des Miroirs. That is where the treaties were all signed. Louis XIV used to hang his orlocks there. Louis XIV. Okay, Saint-Jean-de-Luz. We've done quite a bit of driving before we got this next shot. Saint-Jean-de-Luz is where Granny Gladys was living at the time. That's the harbor, all the fishing boats.
This isn't where you got the idea to
No, it's not. The idea, karaoke was painted. I know it is. No, we painted karaoke from the Sicilian boats. Nothing to do with France. Carcassonne. These are the most beautifully preserved medieval walls in the world. And Carcassonne is in everybody's storybook about castles. And there it is, still standing.
It's a walled-in city. It's not a castle. It's a walled-in city.
In those days, in those days, a walled-in city and a castle were the same.
No. It's a walled-in city.
Okay, it's a walled-in city. But no, medieval, however. And I was standing up to my almost to my knees in liquid mud. And I knew it was happening, but I couldn't stop the camera. Ruined a pair of shoes and my clothes.
We didn't have time. We were racing.
The mud I was standing on had crystals of ice on top of it. How do you think that felt? That's Carcassonne from the distance. And I think that's wheat fluttering around on the right. Marseille, and that is where Martica's father was the Cuban consul to Marseille. Denise, the wife, right? Is Denise okay these days? Huh? She all right? Huh? Yeah? Okay, we're going over the Pyrenees. We parked in the top of the Pyrenees to do a little bit of photography. And as I say, usually when I give this commentary, that I was sprinkling little bits of corn to try to lure this native over near the car. Sprinkling food, and the native is getting closer to the car. Oh, is she gone now? Anyway, we're looking into Spain. Yes, here she comes. Sprinkling a little train of food over toward the car. Yes. A native I found in the mountains. Now Martica's having her first driving lesson. And of course she takes her foot right off of the clutch. And the engine doesn't go for this stuff at all. Then hits the starter button. Jerk, 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 bloom. And the whole time I hear this shrill voice saying, "There's something wrong with this car, something wrong with this car." And the poor clutch is saying, "Don't do this to me." Now this is Barcelona from the mountain. Barcelona. Right. No, she got to driving later, don't worry. Okay, Barcelona. See Barcelona.
Barcelona.
That's Anya saying Barcelona. Oh, you say it Barcelona, don't you?
Barcelona.
Okay, now we're going up to L'Escorial. It's supposed to be one of the wonders, greatest wonder of the world.
We've been there.
Have you been there?
Yes.
When? How long ago?
Oh, well, no, ages, no, but a few years, yes. 3 or 4 years
And
ago.
isn't
I
it
think.
considered one of the great wonders of the world?
Yes.
Nobody knows how they ever got the stone up there.
What did they do? Build something on
You wait till you see it. You won't
Wait to
believe.
see.
Oh, wait a minute. This is the monastery, not L'Escorial. The monastery of...
Come on. What's the name of the monastery?
The monastery was called Montserrat.
Montserrat. Oui, Montserrat. We almost lost the car over the edge.
Because we went around the corner and there was ice on the road. There's El Escorial.
That's Escorial, yes. Okay, say something about it.
El Escorial being the monastery of Philip II and the tombs of all the kings. was extremely interesting.
It was built in the high.
Madrid. That sign says Madrid, although you can't read it. Madrid.
Wait a minute. What was the story about the thing being built so high? Is that it?
no one knows how they ever got all the stones and material up
For that?
Yes, because we could hardly get up there with a car. This is Madrid.
Yeah.
This is Madrid, water. And you know who was with us then? Victoriano Lopez. And we named the Barracuda after him? Victoriano. A friend of Martica's that was in the museum. Toledo. Oh, we just like the name. And Victoriano looks the way he should be named then.
Where your father had been when he was a young man with your grandmother, and he had been in the ruins of the Alcazar, taking some, the Alcazar of Toledo was blown up by the Franco's troops, and your father happened to be taking some picture, and all of a sudden he got a sense of smell about the place, and pretty soon he began to run quickly, because what was he smelling was all the communists, they had run the gasoline underneath the Alcazar and set it on fire, and the whole thing had blown up, and the entire thing was with human bodies inside, because your father was with, there it is, that's the ruins of the Alcazar.
But those were Germans who burned there?
No, it was the Spaniard
Civil War.
and your father and grandmother went there in 1937 when the war was just over. So we went back to look at it. These are the
Look just the same. No difference. A raven just flew by. Beautiful blue sky.
Oh, she probably has long hands.
Alcazar means the castle
Oh yeah,
in Spanish.
long gone.
What does?
Tell them long gone.
Granada. Now we're going to go to Alhambra, which is one of the seven wonders of the world. Alhambra. Alhambra.
No, Alhambra.
The Arabs, didn't the Arabs capture Spain for 500 years?
400.
They had the melting snow from the Sierra Nevada going down staircases because they were from a country where they had no water, and they just had Alhambra filled with beautiful waterfalls and tinkling water.
Charles V, that idiot German king, came over here and tore a beautiful Moorish gate and built that monstrosity that you just saw us go through, right? Typical German fashion, right? Oh, I hope we don't have to show this to any German.
That's Toledo, and of course overexposed by mistake.
One of the most beautiful castles, well, it's the great example of castles in Spain in the Moorish style, which was built by the Arabs.
Okay, olive trees and olive trees and olive trees and olive trees, and Granny Gladys and Martica sitting in the car. Those olive trees go as far as you can see.
What trees are those?
Olive tree.
Oh, olive. That's right. Right. Yes, that's right.
Your grandmother got off at Saint-Jean-de-Luz.
Okay, well, tell him. Granny Gladys got off at
Saint-Jean-de-Luz, we're the two of us together.
There were no more threes sleeping in the car.
No more.
Yeah, how about Montignac and hit the sack and Aurillac?
That was the only time we got-
Okay, Gibraltar. They wouldn't let Martica in. She was from some savage country. They wouldn't let her in, so I couldn't go in.
You wouldn't let me in because I had a Cuban passport. I didn't have a visa for Gibraltar.
Okay, this is this deadly little guy that got us on the steamer. Remember, he gypped us right, left, front, and center? But he did get us on. Here he comes.
Look, a real, you see?
Yeah, he was a wheeler and dealer.
We have to pay.
No, yeah. There's Gibraltar. Look at the Mediterranean blue. And in the next shot, we're going to see a man that must be.
Well, running is always fantasy.
I always fantasized that this was a spy of some kind because he doesn't like the camera and he got up and beat it.
A lot of people don't like
He's looking at the camera now. There was a break in the film here too, and he left.